Let's analyze the on-chain metrics, review some critical levels for Bitcoin, and get into some trade entries. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our analysis of Bitcoin. In this video, we're going to go over some on-chain metrics, how our theory of Wyckoff distribution is playing out, and go over Bitcoin's recent price action and some opportunities to get into some trades. But before we get started, I just want to mention that I gained access to another funded trading account. And if you guys want to see me trade this portfolio live, please hit that follow button and I'll show you guys exactly my methods, my psychology, and just in the long term how I end up trading and working up a portfolio. We also have a free trading community for like-minded traders where we discuss all things trading such as crypto, indices, commodities, and forex. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description down below. And as always, we'll provide timestamps for your guys' convenience in this video so you can easily navigate to the sections that interest you the most. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the liquidity heat map and just how it's been developing. So prior to this down move and this up move, we had a large area of liquidity down below around this 25k mark. And you can see that price action has come down just to hit that 25k mark and it has moved significantly to the upside. We have a couple more areas of liquidity down here, which I believe we will end up hitting. And I'll explain that to you guys once we get to our Wyckoff distribution theory. But for now, just note that we do have areas of liquidity up in this 33k area. And I'll also explain to you guys why that is significant once we get to our charts. So let's get to Wyckoff distribution. So I believe the last time we talked about this chart was around a month or a month and a half ago. We talked about how we were inching towards that area of liquidity that we mentioned a few minutes back, down in this 25k level. And I've been mentioning that level for a few months now, how we've just been inching towards that. There's a lot of confluences in that area. There are a lot of fib levels, order blocks, and just a lot of demand in that area. And it was also visibly apparent on the heat map as well. So recently we've just had our sign of weakness movement down, tapping into that area of demand. And now we're experiencing our upthrust. Now I personally have upthrust targets at around 33 to 34k. So if you zoom out here, these bases I believe are, so these bases have not been tested yet, and I believe they will get tested here fairly shortly. On top of that, we do have a order block right here, but I believe this could be our upthrust after distribution target, especially if the market is extremely bullish. This upthrust after distribution doesn't have to occur in Wyckoff distribution, but in very euphoric markets where the markets are just really bullish, a lot of FOMO is kicking in. The upthrust after distribution can happen, and I believe that if that does happen, this is the order block that we'll tap into before eventually distributing down. A lot of people are taking their profits, and we'll come down to hit some levels down here. But we do have a CME gap down here. On top of that, we do have a broken base and another base down here that has not been tested. It doesn't mean that these bases have to get tested, but if price action is looking bearish and we are dumping sometime in the future, then these are the levels that I'll be looking at. So yeah, Bitcoin has been distributing pretty picture perfectly here according to Wyckoff distribution. So this is something that I'll keep on taking a look at and keep on updating you guys about. So I did want to go over more of a lower time frame analysis with you guys, just to kind of give you guys a heads up for the weekend and next week, and just kind of what to expect. We did have a trade call out here on Discord that looked something like this, but we ended up getting front ran on our entry and we didn't get an entry into this trade, which would have been a pretty good RR trade here. I believe our stop was a little tighter. Yeah, it would have been like a 12 RR trade, which would have been really good. Unfortunately we weren't able to catch it though. But if you guys can see these highlighted strips, these are areas of high liquidity that we identify on the liquidity heat map. You can see that price action is just attracted to it like a magnet. So the liquidity heat map is just such a great tool to use. Right now you can see that we are distributing within this bearish order block. We do have a change of character, or we do have a sweep and a change of character. So we are looking fairly bearish here. If price does get acceptance within this value area, you can see that this value area is developing. If price gets acceptance within this value area, you can expect price action to move back down throughout this value area. possibly finding support in the VWAP since we are fairly bullish, and we'll see another move up here. I do think this 33k mark where we retest the base and hit this level of high liquidity is kind of our next targets for Bitcoin. So I definitely would look for something along the VWAP right here. If we take the fib value here too, from this swing low to swing high, you can see that this VWAP is actually right in the 0.5 as well, which is usually a great retracement level for bullish moves. So these are definitely some areas that I'm currently looking at in terms of adding to my long position. Let's go over to the 4 hour here. We do have a lot of fair value gaps on the 4 hour as well. And we also have this base that is untested here on the 4 hour, another base that's untested here on the 4 hour. So definitely these levels are what I'm looking at in terms of retracement for Bitcoin, but it's also very possible that we just consolidate here and we just get a very small wick down into our move up. I definitely do not think that we're moving back down from here, especially with a lot of the indices still looking poised to go back up. So yeah, I just want to leave you guys with a little bit of information before the weekend. Usually after these expansion moves, you get ranges, and once liquidity builds up on both sides, you get a sweep in the opposite direction of where price action is wanting to go. And since I believe that we are going to be long, I'm going to have my entry somewhere down here. So as price action develops, this entry will get a little bit more clear. But as price action develops and liquidity gets built up, we'll get a sweep of all the early longers, and then we'll get our real move up. You can see this happen, pretty much all the time. For example, like right here, you can see that we just have a consolidation, get a sweep, and our move up. And you'll see this a lot in areas of consolidation. So I don't have an exact entry for a long trade right now, but at the moment as VWAP develops, and since price action is traveling above the VWAP is going to start traveling up. So I believe once the VWAP is above the swing low, our entry will look something like this as VWAP develops, and then we'll get a tap into our trade. But since we are fairly bullish, I think the VWAP will be a fairly good area of support for another long entry here. And I'll line it up with all these fib values to give us extra confidence into our trade. So if you guys enjoy this information and you guys want more info like this on the daily, definitely do check out our free trading community. It's just for people who love to trade, and yeah, just who are looking for a community to get better and who want to share or need feedback on their trades as well. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, make sure to check that out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.